And here's the back page of our test review. So it says writing equations of perpendicular lines. Again, perpendicular lines have opposite reciprocal slopes, right? So two changes to the slope. So if the original slope is a -4, I'm going to do the opposite, which means to change the sign. So my new m is going to be positive. And then I'm going to do the reciprocal, which means to flip the fraction. So 4, this is over 1, is going to change and flip to 1 over 4. So my perpendicular slope is a positive 1/4. Now I'm able to plug into point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Again, m, I just found it, is a positive 1/4. That goes right there. X minus, the x1 value is 16. Y minus, the y1 value is 3. So now we're there. It wants me to convert to slope-intercept form. First step, distribute your slope. So I've got y minus 3 is equal to 1/4 x minus 4. And then last step, I want to add 3 to both sides because I'm solving for y. Slope-intercept form is y equals. I've got it now. So there's my equation of a line that is perpendicular to the original line, but goes through the point 16,3. Same thing for number 24, except number 24 is not in slope-intercept form, so I've got to put it into slope-intercept form. Again, I'm getting y by itself, so -4y equals -3x plus 12. I subtracted 3x on both sides to get y by itself. Last step, I need to divide by the coefficient, so I'm dividing by -4 on both sides. That goes away. You get y equals 3/4 x plus 3. Okay, now, what did I do? Okay, I needed to put this into slope-intercept form to get that puppy right there. But that's not the slope of a line that is perpendicular. Now I need to change that slope to make it perpendicular. Again, two changes, opposite reciprocal. So my new slope is going to be a -4/3. Opposite means to change the sign. That's positive, so I make it negative. Reciprocal means to flip the fraction, so 4/3. All right, so now I've got my slope. I've got my point. I can plug into point slope form. Y minus 8 is equal to -4/3 x plus 9 minus a negative. All right, next step, distribute your slope. So I've got y minus 8 is equal to -4/3 x minus 12. Last step, solve for y. Y equals -4/3 x minus 5. So that's a line that's perpendicular, looking at my slopes, perpendicular to that line, but goes through that point right there. Last thing we talked about, transformations. Okay, f of x equals x is transformed to x plus 5. All right, so f of x equals x, so y, again, fancy way of me saying y, equals x. That's going to go through the origin. It's going to have a slope of 1. That's our parent function for linear functions. That's transformed to x plus 5. So we went up 5. My y-intercept is there. Okay, again, it still has a slope of 1. I did not change the slope. So those two lines are parallel, but I changed the y-intercept. So question A says, describe the effect of the y-intercept from the graph. Well, it's translated up 5 units. Because again, a change in the y-intercept, change in the b, the y-intercept is a translation, and then I went from 0 to positive 5. So I went up 5 units. Last one, I've got x minus 1, so y equals x minus 1, and I've got y equals -3 x minus 1. So your y-intercept, again, is not changing. It's still at -1. Two things changed. The slope changed, and the sign with your slope changed. So two transformations took place. A says, describe the effect on the steepness and type of slope from the graph. So what are my two transformations, right? the sine of the slope is going to reflect it across the x-axis. So that's one of your transformations. Now, the number m associated with the slope went from a 1 to a 3. So the slope got bigger. Therefore, it is a vertical stretch. And again, I know that it's a negative 3. Yes. Okay, but that negative tells me it's reflected across the x-axis. I don't care about dealing with that negative when I'm talking about vertical stretch or compression. All I care about is the number associated with slope, the absolute value of these two numbers. The absolute value of 1 and 3, sorry, negative 3 if you want to say that, the absolute value of negative 3 is a positive 3. So which one's bigger, 1 or 3? Right, the slope is getting bigger. It's a vertical stretch. It says, B says, what's the y-intercept of the graph? It's the same thing. It's still negative 1. So 0, negative 1. I didn't change the y-intercept.